Well, today we're going to add a Cinco de Mayo themed gnome to our little gnome collection. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this project is. All right, here are all the pieces that come on the pattern that you can download to make our gnome. Now the pattern, once again, it's a free download. Go to the blog post, which is linked in the description box below the video, and there you will find the link to take you to my Google Drive where you can get the pattern for free. The pattern comes in two ways. There's a PDF if you want to hand cut this, and there's a PNG for use with your electronic cutting machine. You're free to make gnomes and sell them. Just please don't share my pattern. If somebody you know wants the pattern, send them to the video, send them to the blog post so that they can download it for themselves. Now on the pattern, let's talk about the pieces. We have the main part of the hat and the brim of our hat because we're making our little gnome a sombrero for Cinco de Mayo. We have the body part of the gnome, we have the beard. We have the back stand, and I'm not going to use this. If you choose to use the stand for the back, just glue these four pieces together. When your gnome is complete, add it to the back. We've used those many times. I'm not going to today, but I wanted to leave them on the pattern in case you wanted to use them. We have the beard. We have 3 hands for the left and 3 hands for the right, plus 3 nose pieces. There should be 3 round pieces for the guitar center and 3 pieces for the guitar itself. And then there are 6 shoes, 1 for the right, 3 for the left, and 3 for the right. And I will find the other round. Thought I had caught that. So let's start gluing some of these together. I won't make you watch me glue all of them, but I will show you a few of them. So I have just some thick tacky glue. I like a very thick tacky glue. You want a low moisture glue. If you have a glue stick you're comfortable with, go ahead and use that. That's fine. Or one of the newer glues that are not water-based would also work really well. I do usually weight this down when I get it glued together. Now put 2 layers together, line them up as best you can, and then add another layer. Don't try to stack them all together and then line them up. That doesn't work. Trust me, I've tried. All right, so I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to get all my sets of pieces glued together, and I'm going to let this glue dry thoroughly. Since I will have a weight on top of this, it will take it a little longer to get dry. So I will be back when the glue dries. All right, my glue has dried overnight, and I have prepped for painting. I have a piece of wax paper on my tray here. I also have a piece of masking tape that's sticky side up. I did run this against the leg of my jeans a couple of times just to make sure it wasn't overly sticky. And I've divided my pieces up by colors. I have my sombrero. I have the things that are going to be skin colored, the shoes, the center of the guitar, the beard, and the body piece. Excuse me. So let's start painting. Since on these colors, I know I'm not going to, nothing can get into my paint, I'm okay with painting right out of the lid. Now you will, or out of the neck of the bottle, or wherever. By putting the wax paper under, I know I can move that and then things won't stick. I've had a couple where I have painted and they touch the tray, the tile, and they actually stuck to the tile. So this paint is getting really old, so it's really clumpy. We are going to come back and paint some trim color on that brim, but we'll have to wait for it to dry. Excuse me. We have an extremely high pollen count today, so I apologize for any snot sounds that you hear. I'm going to put some white paint off to the side because I'm going to need that for a couple of things. I'm going to start by taking a brush. I've got a bunch of brushes sitting next to me. And And I'm going to paint the beard with white first. What I like to do with the beard, let's do that. And put out just a drop of gray, any gray. And this is up to you. It doesn't show a lot. And this happens to be charcoal. There will be a picture of the paint bottles on the blog post. So if you don't catch the colors, that's fine. You can check there. Then all I like to do is put just a few streaks, wipe that off, get some white. And that way my beard doesn't look quite as flat. I still have not found skin color paint. Now that the weather's better, I hope to get to the actual craft store, so I'm going to mix some skin color. I have the seashell pink, and I have a really pale yellow, which is Daybreak. Yeah, there's still snow on the ground, and we've got a pollen count of 9.9 today. Fun times. I'm going to take a brush. I'm going to mix those. Yeah, you can kind of see. I'll move down just a little bit so that you can see better. Mix that yellow and that pink together and add in some white. And it makes a, and I got gray in it. Didn't really want that, but that's okay. It'll be fine. I'll come over here. I'll do a second coat with a little more of a pinky color, but you get add more pink into that. If you do like I just did and get it over in the gray by accident because you're not paying attention, add more pink. That's better. There, that'll work. You know, it doesn't really show that much anyway. Color on those is really flexible. Okay, let's get some black on that whole center for the guitar. Let's actually get a smaller brush. And this is just a black craft paint. Now I pulled out this color. This is terracotta. I thought this was kind of cool on the guitar, and you can use any colors you want. Whatever color you've got in your paint stash, or you can mix colors. Hopefully you won't make a mess like I did and get, you know, the gray mixed into the pink, but and I may do a second coat over that and get it just a little bit better tone, but it's not a big deal. All right, just two more to go. Some orange for his little shoes. And I pick up cheap paintbrushes in those big bags of brushes. At Walmart has them, Family Dollar has them, different places. So you don't have to have really expensive brushes for what we're doing here. And then for the body part, I'm using a bright green. Now you could do your gnome any colors you want. I'm kind of loosely basing mine on a couple I saw online that were real size. But you can do yours whatever colors you want. That's the beauty of crafting it and making it yourself. So let's see, I think that cream is probably dry enough. And now I'm just going to add a purple edge to my sombrero brim. You can do yours any way you want. I saw some really cool, real size porch gnomes for Cinco de Mayo that had some really cool designs on them. Yeah, and I might second coat that purple a little bit. So I'm going to let this paint dry. When this is completely dry, we can start some assembly. So I'll be back. All right, my paint is all dried. I fixed the sombrero, so it looks a little neater now. let's go ahead and start gluing together. So the first thing we're going to do is glue our beard onto our body piece. And this, I love how these turn out. They're so simple to put together, and you can really give these little gnomes a lot of personality. Now the only trick with this part is make sure it doesn't extend down below the base of your gnome, and try to get it pretty much in the center. And then the other thing we're going to do right now is put a little dab of glue right in the middle of the guitar. And put that black. There. And don't worry about glue oozing out, because that will get covered up when we put a clear finish on. Just wipe away any big blobs of glue that come out. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put his feet on too. That way I know that I've got the beard pretty well centered. Off camera, I'm going to make sure that this is lined up with the bottom a little better than it probably is right now. All right, I am going to set this off to the side to dry. When this glue is dried enough, it won't move around. I'll come back and we can start adding the rest of the pieces. All right, my glue is pretty much dry on those, so I'm going to put glue on the back of my hat at the bottom and up here, because it's not going to touch the whole length. It's only going to touch here and then down there. And this one you will have to make sure you put it so that the green doesn't show on the sides. Get your hat where you want it. And then I like to add the nose at this point too. That way when we come back and this is stable, we can put on the brim to our hat. So I'm going to let this glue dry. When this is dry, I'll come back and we'll add pretty much the rest of our pieces. All right, now that our glue is set up, we can go ahead and put glue on the back of the hat brim. And this is designed to stick out past the edges of the gnome on both sides. And then it's up to you what angle you put his little guitar at. And his little hands. And be sure on the little hands, the thumb is kind of a bump up, so you know that that goes which side they go on. All right, now this glue just has to dry all the way, and then we can put a clear finish on and see what he looks like in front of the dollhouse. So I'll be back when he's completely dry. All right, our glue is completely dry now, and he's ready to finish. Now, if you did want to add the stand, I just glued the 4 pieces of the little stand together. You could glue it onto the back at this point and let that dry before you put the finish on. I decided I didn't want to put that on this time. I've been putting them on every time. I decided this time I didn't want to. So I've got some satin Mod Podge and a brush. My brushes are all getting really stained. So I'm going to just put a nice thin, even coat on the front of my little gnome. Once the front is dry, I'm going to flip him over off camera, and I'm going to put a coat of the same Mod Podge on the back. Now be sure you try and get all the edges and everything coated. That will help everything to stay together long term. But when this is all dry, I will meet you over at the dollhouse and we can see how he looks with the other items we've made. So I'll see you there. All right, I've moved our little gnome over onto the front porch of the dollhouse where he joins our cactus themed collection. I really love how he turned out. I think he's adorable and he'll be fun for the dollhouse to celebrate Cinco de Mayo and have up throughout the month of May. Be sure and hop over to the blog post. I've got photos, I'll have more directions over there, and the important link to the free downloadable pattern so you can make your own gnome. Remember, there's a PNG for cutting on your electronic cutting machine and a PDF for hand cutting. No matter which you decide to do, you'll be able to make this cute little gnome to join your dollhouse. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit the like button, leave me a comment. What kinds of things would you like to see in future videos? Be sure and share the video with your friends. Let's get some more people watching the videos. More subscribers on the channel would really help me out. I thank you very much for watching today, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.